You're listening to Dark Waters Radio, the premier destination for paranormal and cryptid encounters. Get ready for storytelling perfected with your host, the godfather of Dogman stories himself. With over 300 interviews conducted around the world, 5 published books, and founder of dogmancams.com under his belt, Dark Waters has cemented his status as the authority on all things strange and frightening. From dogmen to ghosts, witches, and government conspiracies, he's heard it all. After taking a short hiatus, Dark Waters has returned in full swing to once again evolve the landscape of true story narration. His gripping accounts of supernatural run-ins will have you on the edge of your seat. So turn down the lights, settle in, and prepare to believe the unknown. The Godfather is back, and he's ready to introduce you to creatures, specters, and phenomena you've never heard of. Storytelling perfected. This is Dark Waters Radio.
Come on, honey, let's go. Get inside. Let's go. I knew we shouldn't have come to his event. That son of a bitch does this every time. He always has to try and find a way to show me up. And you know what, babe? The last time he did some shit like this, I should have punched him in the nose. Had I punched him square in the nose, he wouldn't be playing these games that he's playing with me right now. But no, I wanted to be the peaceful one. I wanted to be the one who turned the other cheek. I'll tell you what, I won't be doing that with him ever again.
Don't you think you're driving a little fast? These back roads are so dark and winding.
Listen, forget about the road, babe. What I'm trying to explain to you is this. This guy is a piece of shit. Besides, I know this road like the back of my hand.
I hope so. I'm getting creeped out by all these trees. It's so easy to imagine something jumping out.
Like what, a dog, man? I done told you 1,000 times, babe. You listen to that crap way too much. There's no such thing as a dog man.
Did you see that up ahead? I think something just ran across the road.
That's probably just a deer.
I don't know. It looked bigger than a deer. Slow down a bit so we don't hit anything.
What the hell is that
thing?
thing?
Oh my God. Look, it's coming towards us.
What the fuck is that thing? Stop screaming, babe. Hold on, hold on. Oh, my head. Oh. Honey, are you okay? Honey. Babe? Babe, where are you? Oh, what the fuck? Where's my cell phone? Son of a bitch. I gotta get out of this car. Damn it. Hey, where are you? Now, you see, this is a bunch of bullshit right here. I'm trapped in this car, and what the hell is that? Is that coyotes? Is that wolves? You don't have wolves around here. I gotta get out of this car. I absolutely gotta get out of this car. Hold on. Wait. There's a light over there in the distance. Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Help me! Hey, I'm over here! Help! 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 Those are eyes. Glowing red eyes.
Yes, this is Baron Mouse and I am back. I told you that we were coming back with more content, but no one seems to listen to me, as if I am not here with Doc Waters himself. Yes. Here is what I want you to do. This story that I am presenting to you here is a story that gives you an option to choose what will happen next. Yes. For those of you who will say it is creepypasta, I do not care. The options that are presented to you are the many options that have been gathered from our research on Dogman. Yes. This is one thing to tell someone about what happens during encounters. It's another thing for you to choose for yourself. So, I have presented two options on the screen for you. Option A and option B. Which one will you choose in the story? We'll pick up from there tomorrow. Yes. But don't go anywhere. There are more Dogman Encounters coming for you right now. Yes.
Listen, I've always strived to be a good father. It doesn't mean that as a man, I never made any mistakes. But the one thing in my life that I will never ever call a mistake is any of my children. I just refuse to do it. Now, some of the decisions I made on the way to having my children, those were mistakes. But the kids themselves, children come from God. And I don't consider any of my kids to be mistakes. Just so you understand a little bit about me. I had been married 3 times, had 3 different kids by 3 different women. Each kid was had in wedlock. It just so happened to be that I was a better father than I could ever be a husband. Now, my first wife, Julie, she was cool. She didn't play the child support games. I was always there for our son, and she and I to this day have a phenomenal working relationship. My second wife turned out to be greedy. Took me for every dime that I had and forced me on child support. My third wife, she's a pothead. She didn't care. As long as the bills were paid and she's able to smoke her pot, she didn't even want to have custody of my son. So as you can imagine, back then there was no room in my life for games whatsoever. I'm technically juggling 3 different women and 3 different kids. And when I say juggling, you have to understand, on a daily basis, I had to interact with each and every one of my ex-wives. Sometimes one was on a period, the other one wasn't. Sometimes one was having problems with their old man, and she was taking it out on me. I'm talking about a constant emotional freaking roller coaster. And on top of all that, because the majority of my money was going to child support, I was living damn near in abject poverty. My kids constantly wanted and needed things. And in spite of the fact that you're paying child support, kids don't care. They expect their father to provide for them. And I will be damned if I let my kids down. So now I'm working 70-hour work weeks, just enough time to close my eyes and go to sleep, wake up, pay bills, spend a little bit of time with my kids, in my 1-bedroom studio apartment. When my life started to seem like it was getting in order, my boss starts to pick at me at work. And when I tell you this guy's messing with me for absolutely no reason, screwing with me for no reason, fighting me on my overtime, giving other people the overtime shifts, it was almost like he became demon possessed and he just started to hate me. So now my hours are getting cut back, which means that I need to find another place to live because frankly, I can't afford to pay rent. And that's how I found this place on Craigslist. Listen, have you ever heard about female intuition? Julie, my first wife, had hellified female intuition. And she and I had a working relationship where I could still talk to her. And she could still give me advice. So I'm telling Julie all the things that are going wrong at the job and how I need to move and how I found this place on Craigslist. And she goes with me to see the location. The minute we pull up in the driveway, Julie says, there's something wrong with this house. It doesn't feel right. You shouldn't be renting here. Besides, it's way too big for the amount of money that you're going to be paying in rent. Nobody rents out a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for only $800 a month. Look around. All the rest of these houses got to be going for $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month. Why are they renting this house for $800 a month? In Julie's mind, the house had to have a roof leak, a plumbing problem, something terrible was going on in that place. However, I found myself in a situation where I had no choice but to move in. I couldn't afford to pay the rent on that studio apartment, which is way closer to all my ex-wives and children. I just couldn't afford to pay it. So I decided to lease the place for 6 months and move in. Now listen, day one I move into the house. Everything seems fine. Not a problem in the world. Mind you, I'm coming from a studio apartment. I don't have nowhere near enough stuff to fill up a 3-bedroom house. But the first thing I do with my paycheck is go out and buy some air mattresses so I can have beds for my kids to sleep on when they came to come visit me. Things are good for about a solid week and a half. Then one night at 3 a.m., I'm laying in bed and it sounds to me like there's somebody trying to open one of the windows downstairs. So I head downstairs and do a quick sweep of the house, but I don't see anything. The following morning, I go outside, walk around. There's no sign that anyone was there, except the fact that the floodlight on the back right side of the house, someone had unscrewed the light bulb and laid it on the ground. I found that to be extremely odd, weird, and strange, so I picked the light bulb up, screw it back in, going about my business. The next couple of days, I'm working overtime, and when I come home and go to sleep, man, I'm out. I don't hear a sound, comatose, sleep. Then Saturday rolls around, my one day off, and then Saturday rolls around, my one day off, and I decide to go outside to mow the lawn. So I'm outside, cutting the grass, and now I realize that each and every floodlight around the entire house, the bulbs are unscrewed and laid on the ground. So now I know someone in this area is screwing with me. So I head on over to my neighbor's house, knock on the door, introduce myself and say, hey man, I just moved in. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to come over and introduce myself. I do a lot of overtime work, so I just haven't had time. My name is Michael. The gentleman greets me and says his name is Chris, and we exchange a few pleasantries. Then I ask him, frankly, the people who lived here before me, did they have any kind of strange or weird things happen at this house? That's when his look comes across Chris's face. That look on a person's face like they're trying to make a decision whether they're going to tell you something or they're going to withhold it from you. That was the look that I was observing on his face. I could see the gears in his mind turning, him trying to figure out exactly what he was going to say and how he was going to say it. And the words that came out of his mouth were very simple. He said, Mike, nobody stayed at that house for over 6 months. I don't know why. I can't tell you what happened, but everybody that moves into that house only stays there for 6 months and then they leave. Get this. A couple of nights later, I figured out exactly why people don't stay at that house any longer than 6 months. Because I'm laying in bed after working overtime. I got off work at 4 a.m. I got home at 4:45 a.m. I am asleep by 5 a.m., trying to sleep through the entire day, when I'm awakened to what sounds like someone inside my freaking kitchen, moving dishes around. Now, if you ever worked late hours, I'm talking about night shift, late hours, without a doubt, that when you get in that delirious state of mind, your brain plays tricks on you. Like you'll hear sounds, you'll see things. And I've been working late hours for a long time. So part of me was like, okay, you're extremely tired, you're delirious, you're not hearing anything. But then I started to hear what sounds like dishes clashing and hitting the ground, breaking. So now I'm popping up, headed down to the kitchen. My eyes are barely open. I mean like that swollen, stuck together eyelids. I'm headed down the steps. I turn and go into the kitchen, and there is shattered glass everywhere on the floor. Looking around, all the doors in the house are locked. Not a door open. But somehow, glasses and dishes have come out of the cabinets and slammed on the ground. So now I'm thinking to myself, okay, I just so happened to be the man who decided he was going to move into the haunted house. What kind of luck do I have? But little did I know it wasn't exactly as I thought it was. Because I sweep up all the glass and I say to myself, look, I need to go to sleep because I got to be to work again soon. I don't give a damn if it's a ghost, if it's a demon, whatever the hell you are in this house. And I say it out loud, whatever the hell you are in this house, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ, and you need to leave right now because I need to go to sleep. So I head back upstairs, lay down in the bed, and go to sleep. When I tell you, those were some of the most scary nightmares I have ever had. It was horrific. Me laying in bed, surrounded by what looked like red glowing eye Bigfoots, but they weren't tall, massive Bigfoots. They were these little bitty, short, hairy, Ewok looking Bigfoot things. They had wide noses, big brows, heads that were way bigger than their bodies, and they were all surrounding my bed with these glowing red eyes. When I finally wake up from those dreams, I get up and go look out of the window, and guess what the hell I see in the woods? Glowing red eyes. Now understand, in a couple of days, all my kids are coming over to the house. But I got to go to work. So I get up, get dressed, head out to work. When I come back in, 4 a.m. in the morning, pull into the driveway, sure enough, there's glowing red eyes all over the damn woods. And looking at my house itself, it's pitch black. And I instantly knew that whatever it was in those woods had unscrewed all the floodlights again. So now, not only am I tired, but I'm pissed off because there's something out there messing with me. And in 2 days, my kids are going to be here. So I head inside of the household, grab a shotgun, and walk out into the woods. Why did I make such a absolute terrible decision? Because I'm there in the woods, shotgun at ready, flashlight turned on my shotgun, and I'm searching, trying to figure out what's there, and I see one of them peeking from around a tree. The exact same damn thing I saw in my dream. Big head, small body, red glowing eyes that looks like a baby Bigfoot. And when I look around, I am completely surrounded by these things. So now I am shooting the shotgun in the woods, no more than 50 yards away from my house, terrified out of my mind, running back home. And by the time I get home and get inside, here come the police, because my neighbors have called the police. The police pull up into the driveway, begin to beat on the door. I come to the door, and what exactly am I supposed to tell them? Hey, officer, I was shooting in the woods at Bigfoot. So now the officers are trying to arrest me for discharging my firearm in a residential neighborhood. We're standing out there talking about this. One officer is adamant about taking me to jail. The other officer is questioning me, trying to figure out why I would do such a thing. And then he sees those red glowing eyes in the woods. I remember the look on his face, his eyes wide as saucers, when he says, "What is that over there in the woods?" Looking in that direction, there are 10 sets of glowing red eyes right there in the woods. And I explained to him, now you know what I was shooting at. As all of this commotion is going on, my neighbor comes walking down the hill, walks up to the cops and says, "Listen, guys, I know what's going on." And if he was shooting at something, not someone. And he goes on to explain to the cops, which he could have explained to me when I first moved in, that every other person who lived in this house has experienced the same phenomenon. Glowing red eyes in the woods, poltergeist activity inside of their household, glowing red eyes inside of their closet. And he tells the police officers that he believes that this house was built on Native American land. I'm standing there thinking to myself, man, I really appreciate you coming over here to speak up and help me out. But bro, you could have told me this when I first moved in. You could explain all of this to me when I first knocked on your front door. Get this, as we're standing there talking, another police car pulls up. This is the supervisor of the cops that are on scene. He gets out of the vehicle, walks up, takes complete control of the situation and says, "Listen, gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and leave this man alone and let him go back inside of his house. You, sir, go inside of your house, pack up your things, and you're going to need to move." And I'm trying to explain to this man that I just moved in here. He said, "Sir, if you've been in the woods shooting at those things, you're going to need to move. Now, you can listen to me or you can stay here." He said, "But I'm telling you, you need to go inside, pack up the valuables that you want, and move." Now I'm standing there looking at him, looking at his officers, and looking at my neighbor. And my neighbor says, I agree with him. The last person who shot at those things in the woods, it didn't end well for him. So I ended up moving out of the house that I just freaking moved in and going to stay with Julie, my ex-wife,